late tonight, Chairman Grassley scheduled a committee vote on Brett Kavanaugh's nomination for Friday morning, only hours after Dr. Ford's testimony this Thursday, something Senator Dianne Feinstein has called outrageous. For more, I'm joined by Susan Page, USA Today Washington Bureau Chief, Zerlina Maxwell, Senior Director of Progressive Programming for SiriusXM, and Michael Steele, former RNC Chair. Thank you all. I want to talk to Susan about the oddness of 11 men who've waited all their lives to be members of the Judiciary Committee. They've been elected and selected to be on that committee, waited with bated breath for these hot on-television hearings with everybody watching, free advertising, and they don't want it. They don't want to touch this. They want somebody they're outsourcing to some sex crimes prosecutor, a woman, to come in and do the work for them.
So not even the committee counsel. An outsider whose name we don't know yet, a female assistant, as
a mercenary.
Mitch McConnell called her
what do you
this
make
afternoon.
Of this?
I think it illustrates how toxic they think this has the potential to be for themselves and for their party. They're already struggling with holding the support of suburban women who have been part of the Republican coalition, but who have been their support has been eroding since President Trump was elected, and could get eroded a lot further depending on what happens next.
What do you think the camera will look like, Michael? The camera is going to be on that hearing, and it's going to be on the members of the committee. Yeah. And there'll be potted plants sitting up there. Guys like Orrin Hatch, who's noted for his commentary in this area, saying the woman's confused, she's mixed up, sitting there with their facial expressions, emoting some sort of support for the tough questioning or dismissing the comments and the testimony of Dr. Ford. What's their role there?
Their role is to do exactly what you just described. They are hiding behind the skirt of a woman who will question in their stead another woman about allegations that she's made. And that, to me, I don't care how you try to reframe this, the cameras are not going to be on the questioner. The cameras are going to be on the 11 white men sitting behind the questioner as these questions, which, by the way, will probably be part of what they want asked. Yeah. So they're going to be reflective of what their particular staffs have come up with.
Without their attitude.
Without their attitude, right. Yeah. But no one watching this will walk away thinking, oh, well, this was a conversation between two women. No, it's 11 men behind a woman asking Dr. Ford these questions, and that image is going to be one that's going to haunt them right through to November.
I wonder what the questioning is going to be like, because this brought in outside prosecutor with a record experience in sex crimes. That's interesting in itself. Sex crimes, that's her specialty. We'll also be questioning the Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh. That's going to be interesting. I wonder how tough that's going to be. Your thoughts, Zerlina?
Well, I do think that it's very funny that, if you notice, Chris, we haven't mentioned the name of this sex crimes prosecutor.
We don't know yet.
Republicans are withholding her name to protect her safety. So they're putting more thought into the safety of the prosecutor they're bringing in to basically shill on their behalf, and not thinking about Dr. Ford and what's appropriate for her. And that is proof because they've already scheduled the vote, Chris. So if they are really going to take her word seriously, then you can't schedule a Friday morning vote, because you don't know what anyone is going to say on Thursday.
You said to protect her safety. What do you mean?
Well, it's been reported that they're withholding the name of this prosecutor because they're thinking of, obviously, she'll become a target of attacks. But I do think
Are you sure that's for real or that's for show? That sounds like theater to me.
Well, look, Chris, I'm just going based on reporting. I don't think
you're based upon reporting of what the Republicans are saying.
Right.
But I wonder whether they're not playing a little game here of theater, like, oh, boy, they've been so terrible, the left wing on this, the progressives, that we have to protect her physically from their assaults. That sounds like PR.
It is PR, Chris. You're absolutely right. I was giving them way too much benefit of the doubt. What I really think is Republicans are putting on a complete and total sham hearing on Thursday. Yeah. We still don't know the full details of the allegation that Michael Avenatti's client is going to put forward. Obviously, what he has already put out into the public domain is very serious, even more serious than the first two allegations. And so we've had an interview with Brett Kavanaugh and his wife, although he didn't allow her to express and answer questions directly posed to her. He repeated the same lines over and over. And so Today, we're in a very difficult place, but Republicans clearly are not understanding the moment we are in. We are a year into the Me Too movement, which is a response to the election of Donald Trump. Today, we saw Bill Cosby finally be held accountable for raping nearly 60 women over the course of decades. And so I think that they're misunderstanding this moment, and it's at their peril.
Well, during his interview with Fox, Kavanaugh that was last night at 7, he denied the claim made by Deborah Ramirez in The New Yorker, and that others found the allegation. He said the others found the allegation inconceivable. He's speaking for others here. Let's hear the judge. Let's watch.
Never did any such thing. The other people alleged to be there don't recall any such thing. If such a thing had happened, it would have been the talk of campus. The women I knew in college and the men I knew in college says it's inconceivable that I could have done such a thing.
Well, he says they say it was inconceivable. Anyway, however, Kavanaugh's Yale roommate at the time, James Roach, issued a statement that Ramirez's claim is credible and consistent with the Kavanaugh he knew of his roommate. In that statement, Roach noted, quote, "I would see him as he returned from nights out with his friends. It is from this experience that I concluded that although Brett was normally reserved, he was probably a notably heavy drinker, even by the standards of the time, and that he became aggressive and belligerent when he was very drunk." Tonight, Ramirez's lawyers tweeted that they have reached out to the Senate Judiciary Committee to cooperate, but so far the committee has refused to meet all scheduled appointments. So they're keeping Ramirez pretty far away. What do you make of this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde description of the guy's roommate, Judge Kavanaugh?
Yeah. Well, I think it's part of the mix of, we've got people who say, no, we've got people who say, no, this isn't the way you behave, but we also have people who...
It's his roomie.
Yes, his roomie.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.